Welcome to the latest episode of the Real World Nutrition Podcast. This is episode 245, Whole Foods versus Isolated Nutrients, Why Food Synergy Matters. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Real World Nutrition. I'm Shelley, registered dietitian nutritionist, and today's a topic I get asked a lot. And I know I say this often, but there's so many nutrition related questions out there that I get. You guys benefit from everybody else's questions, and you may have had them yourself. So here's the question that I get a lot. Are supplements as good as whole foods? And the short answer is no. And I have to say this. Whole foods, I'm referring to, of course, actual food, not the store. People sometimes actually do mix that up. But anyway, let's get back to this question. Are supplements as good as the original intact foods that we can eat or that we should eat? And no. But as with the topic of nutrition, there's so many details here that there's always a longer answer, and the details matter here. So first up, many people take supplements because they want to improve their health, fill nutrient gaps, or make sure they're getting what their body needs. Then there's others who wonder whether a supplement can replace fruits and vegetables, replace eating fish, replace foods that they do not regularly eat. So today I want to talk about why the whole foods, the actual food, and supplements are not the same thing. What researchers mean when they talk about food synergy or the synergistic effect of food, and why nutrition is so much more than those individual nutrients. So I want to start with the basic definition. What exactly is a dietary supplement? Now, according to the Food and Drug Administration, a dietary supplement is a product intended to supplement the diet. That sounds pretty straightforward, pretty obvious. And that definition includes vitamins, minerals, herbs, amino acids, probiotics, and many other substances that we can obtain through food. But I also want to point out an important word in that definition: supplement. Not replacement, supplement. So the purpose of a supplement is to add something to the diet when it's needed. It is not intended to completely replace foods. And even in a medical setting where nutrition support is necessary, healthcare professionals, including myself, nutrition professionals, we always try to use the GI tract or the gastrointestinal tract whenever possible and return individuals to eating regular food when it's appropriate. So I do have people who do have to have tube feeding temporarily, some long term, but as much as possible, food remains the goal. And that alone, in any clinical setting, in real world setting, food is the goal. That's important because the human body is designed to obtain nutrients from foods. The body prefers this. Now, that doesn't mean supplements are useless. That's not true at all. But I'll come back to that later. But I want to explore why food is often more than the sum of its parts. So I want to start with a common example, vitamin C. Now, when most people think about vitamin C, they think about oranges. And for good reason. Oranges are a great source of vitamin C. But here's something that people don't think about. When you eat an orange, you're getting way more than just vitamin C. You're also getting fiber, water, potassium, natural sugars, various phytochemicals, and numerous compounds that scientists are still studying and what those benefits might be. Now compare that orange to a vitamin C supplement, where you might get 250 milligrams, 500 milligrams, possibly 1,000 or more. But what else do you get in that vitamin C supplement? Not much. Pretty much nothing. Fillers to help it look like a pill or whatever the form it is. And for years, researchers have tried to identify the specific nutrients responsible for health benefits associated with fruits and vegetables. And many times, isolating a single nutrient just does not produce the same results as eating the food itself. It just hasn't. So this suggests the benefits come from the combination of nutrients and compounds working together. So is the vitamin C by itself what is the beneficial aspect? Or is it the vitamin C with other compounds, the ones we've yet to identify, the ones we have identified, that make it work? So this is that concept of food synergy, or what I call the synergistic effects of foods. Now, not everybody likes that word synergy for some reason, but it's, I don't know what else to refer to it as just these things working together, referring to this idea that these nutrients interact with each other in ways that create effects beyond what a single nutrient can accomplish alone. And so far, it doesn't seem like we as humans are able to replicate what is naturally occurring in those foods. So I want to use another example, or provide another example here, is fish oil supplements. And a lot of people aren't keeping up on what this is, but for years, or I should say the details here, fish oil. For years, fish oil supplements gained popularity because of their omega-3 fatty acid content. Heck, I used to recommend omega-3 fatty acids as supplements. And omega-3 fats have been associated with heart health benefits, and that assumption's been pretty straightforward. If eating fish, specifically those rich in omega-3s, are associated with health benefits, then taking fish oil supplements should produce the same benefits. But the thing is the research has been mixed. While certain populations may benefit from fish oil supplements under specific circumstances, the results have not consistently matched the benefits associated with eating fish. So let me reword that. We do not find the same benefit of consuming a fish oil supplement as we do when people eat fish. So what might that be? Because fish contains more than the omega-3 fats. Fish also provides protein, vitamin D, selenium, various minerals, and other compounds that may contribute to health. And again, these may be compounds we have yet to identify yet. So once again, this is a case where the food package, the whole food, appears to matter so much more than that one isolated part of it. And I do want to talk about some product categories that are increasingly popular. These are things like green powders or things that replace fruits and vegetables. So you've probably seen ads claiming a scoop of powder can replace servings of fruits and vegetables. And these products are often marketed as convenient nutrition insurance. And while some may contain vitamins and minerals and plant compounds, they are not, they never will be the same as eating fruits and vegetables. Because a powdered product cannot fully replicate fiber structure, the water content in the original form, the physical form of those fruits and vegetables, the chewing experience. This is a huge part of nutrition, the chewing experience, the volume, or that complete nutrient matrix, that synergistic effect of whole foods working together, or the nutrients within them working together to provide the benefit. So think about eating an apple. An apple contains fiber and water. It requires chewing. It occupies space in the stomach. And all of those factors influence digestion, absorption, and satiety. A green powder mixed in water simply creates a different physiological experience. So that brings us to another important concept, is the nutrient interactions. Nutrients do not work alone. They interact constantly. There's so many ways that they interact together. I'm not going to be able to cover them all, but I'm going to give you some examples. So here's one example. Vitamin C enhances the absorption of what we call non-heme iron, which is the iron found in plant foods. So if we have non-heme iron are coming from a plant food, and we have vitamin C in the same food, it's going to help absorption. Fat helps us absorb vitamins A, D, E, and K. Vitamin D helps regulate calcium absorption. Magnesium participates in so many metabolic pathways involving other nutrients. So the body is designed to process nutrients with complex food systems. So yes, we could take the vitamin D, and yes, assume it's going to help with our calcium absorption, but there's other things that vitamin D does. So this whole combination of things that when we consume it through food has so much more benefit. And when nutrients are isolated, some of these natural interactions may be altered. And research sometimes refer to this broader concept as the matrix effect. The matrix effect describes how the physical and the chemical structure of food influences how nutrients are released, absorbed, and utilized. I mean, these are just these systems in place that when we eat food, the body deals with it in the way it should. So I want to go back to the apple example. An apple contains sugar. Nobody disputes that. But the sugar in an apple behaves differently than a sugar in a soda or soft drink. Why? Because the apple has fiber, has water, has physical structure. And those factors influence digestion and absorption. So this food matrix influences that. And this same principle applies across many foods. So I want to discuss some of these claims I see online about our food and why people argue for supplements. This is one I hear a lot, and I even heard my own mom repeat this, so I knew she got it from a salesperson. The idea that modern food is so depleted of nutrients that we need supplements to fix that. And yes, soil quality and agricultural practices influence nutrient content, but this claim is often exaggerated. And actually, our food has more nutrients in it today than ever before. Most people can obtain the majority of their nutrients that they need from eating a varied eating pattern, so including fruits, vegetables, whole grains, protein foods, and other nutrient-dense choices. So the solution is not always another supplement. Our food is not devoid of nutrients if we're choosing whole foods. So yeah, if you're choosing ultra-processed foods that's got all kinds of added sugar and added fat and added sodium, yeah, well, that's not the same thing as saying I'm eating fruits and vegetables. Those are not devoid of nutrients, the fruits and vegetables. So the solution isn't to supplement. The solution is often improving overall diet quality. Another common belief is that if some is good, more must be better. And nutrition rarely works that way. As with all things, we've got an upper limit, we've got an adequate intake. We need to find a happy medium. And in fact, it's possible to consume too much of certain nutrients through supplements. As I mentioned in a prior episode, many vitamins and minerals have established upper limits for a reason. And the upper limits are almost always related to dietary supplements. We can get too much vitamin C from vitamin supplements or a vitamin C supplement. Never are we gonna, I should say. It is highly unlikely that somebody's going to eat too much food that contains vitamin C that we're going to hit the upper limit. So excessive supplementation can sometimes create problems rather than solve them. Because I've seen people back when gummies first became, or chewable supplements were a thing, people eating them like candy, that's not good. That's got potential issues. So that meaning eating them like candy as in taking 3, 4, 5 at a time. And food generally provides nutrients and amounts the body is designed to handle. So if we're going to get to an excessive amount of nutrients from food, we're usually over-consuming food, and we're usually going to get full first. So I'm going to use another example here, fiber. Fiber. Oh gosh, not as popular as protein, but pretty close there when people are talking about fiber maxing and protein maxing. But most people do not consume enough fiber. And if we increase our fiber intake through foods like beans and lentils and fruits and vegetables and whole grains, that can address that gap naturally. And those same foods provide other nutrients along with other beneficial compounds. So another factor is considering the cost. So we can get more fiber from eating more of those foods, we could get more fiber by having a single fiber supplement. And what are we going to get out of that fiber supplement? Not the same thing as foods. And then we've got to factor in those costs. So considering the cost, supplements can get expensive very quickly. So I know people take a whole slew of vitamins, or supplements, I should say. A multivitamin, a B complex, an omega-3, a probiotic, a greens powder, a collagen supplement. And for long, people are spending hundreds of dollars each month on supplements. Meanwhile, those same dollars could be used to purchase foods that have those nutrients and more in them. Food provides energy, protein, carbohydrates, fat, fiber, vitamins, minerals, and countless other compounds. Like I've said, some we know what they are, some have yet to be identified. And it's all in one package. Why not go with that one? Now, I do want to be clear. Supplements do have a role. They do. I'm not anti-supplement. I always tell people I'm not anti-supplement. I'm pro-education. So let's talk about where they have their role. I'm not going to cover everything, but sometimes they're necessary. So some examples here: B12 for somebody who's a vegan. Vegan animal B12 vitamin B12 comes from animal foods. It is also in fortified foods, so it's something where it's an individual case. Prenatal vitamins during pregnancy. Vitamin D supplementation when medically indicated, so you can get a vitamin D level done with a blood test and get recommendations based on that. And I have known people, I've had a couple of patients who were getting vitamin D supplementation and they got to excessive levels and we had to cut back on it. Iron supplements for diagnosed deficiencies. Certain medical conditions can affect nutrient absorption. So supplements do have their place and they can be valuable tools. The key here I want to make clear is recognizing their intention. And again, they're designed to supplement the diet, not replace healthy eating or healthier eating. So what is the takeaway today? Whole foods, original intact foods. Of course, we can cut them up and cook them and all that, but you know what I mean here. Whole foods provide way more than just that isolated nutrient. We get more than just vitamin C from a strawberry. We get more than just potassium from a banana. We get more than just healthy fats from an avocado. There's a complex combination of compounds that interact in their own unique ways that we're still learning to understand. Maybe we'll never understand it. Let's just go with it, because that's what humans have always eaten: food. The benefits of fruits, vegetables, fish, whole grains, beans, nuts, and other foods come from the entire package, not a single nutrient. And nutrition research continues to show that our overall dietary patterns far more than chasing individual nutrients. Supplements can be helpful when appropriate, but food remains the foundation. And when it comes to nutrition, that foundation, I should say, is difficult, if not impossible, to replicate in a pill, capsule, or powder. All right, with that, I want to thank you for joining me on another episode of Real World Nutrition. If you found this helpful, I would love to hear from you. Tell me what you learned. Share it with somebody who could benefit from it. Maybe not want to argue with somebody who's trying to push supplements. Just go ahead and walk away, knowing that you know what's going on here. Subscribe or follow the podcast. Leave a review. As I said, share it with somebody who may be wondering whether supplements can replace healthy eating and why it's got its place, but it's not going to replace healthy eating. All right, everyone. With that, remember, nutrition is often less about finding that one magic nutrient and always more about the overall pattern of foods that make up your diet. And with that, you all take care and bye for now.